We'll go ahead and start with a roll call. Myself is present, Chris Schumer. I'm going to go through this and not necessarily hear from you. I'm seeing you. You can give me a wave if you want to. And then Christina Stasone, I've already chatted with you here. We also have Deepak Bapu. I saw you log in. I'm going to assume you're good.
Yeah, I'm present. Yep.
Christina Rima, same thing. I saw you and I'm there.
Yep, present.
Okay, and then Stephen Super, I saw you as well.
Yes, present.
Lincoln down there, that's awesome. Really, the tennis game, I see a wonderful face there. Caitlin Murphy, you know, it's absent today. Laura O'Lyman, I chatted with you, see you.
Present.
Nancy, same thing. I see you logged in. Awesome to see you. And then Tom Pekowski, we see you too. We know you're on. Present. And same with Chris Munn. I see you, and I'm going to mark you as present.
Present.
Awesome. We'll go ahead and I'll entertain a motion in a second to approve the agenda unless anybody needs to make any modifications. Let's hear those prior to a motion.
Just Elaine, one thing. I think it's on the agenda, but maybe what we were just talking about.
I've got us down in old business on the capital expansion.
Okay, we'll just put it in there.
We'll cover it down there.
Okay.
Anything else I'm missing there? All right. Can I get a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve the meeting agenda.
Fantastic.
I second.
I second.
All right, great. Motion carries. We'll approve that agenda. April 19 meeting minutes went around for circulation. I'm hoping everybody had a chance to look at them. I'll do the same too. Let's hear any modifications anybody think need to be made. And I'll entertain a motion and a second to approve those meeting minutes.
Yeah,
Motion to approve the minutes.
And this is Deepak. I second that.
Awesome. Motion carries. We'll approve those April meeting minutes. I'm going to keep things brief so we can talk about budget and capital expansion, two very exciting things. I only want to mention book fair this week. A huge shout out to that team there trying to get, a memory, fabricated and back into the school. Everybody looks forward to that book fair. So I think it's really brilliant that they're able to do what they can do here with given the circumstances. And I'm excited. I've chatted a little bit with Principal Munns on the 8th grade graduation. It sounds like that's going to be a really memorable experience, something really, marked for the 8th graders leaving the school, albeit they've been through a roller coaster of a year. So I'm happy to hear that that's happening and that it's going to be just as special as it has been every year. So those are two great things I just wanted to point out. And, thanks to everybody to continue doing their great work. And why don't I pass the baton to you, Chris, and we can go into a principal's report.
Sure.
Right into when you're done with that too. That'd be great.
I'm actually going to go right into budget because that was really mostly what everything. You know what, Sean? Can you pull up the work page, the budget planning checklist? And while he's doing that, we've got some awesome, exciting news. Ashani D is one of our winners and will represent Sauganash School to the Chicago Student Invention Convention. So we're really excited, and whoever wins that will advance to the U.S. Nationals. So it's the furthest that we've ever gotten with the Invention Convention. So kudos to Ashani and also to Mrs. Askovich for encouraging her to do it. What was her? It's earbuds. I guess they call it the earbuds. You can now tell which one's right and which one's left. So hopefully she gets that, because I always have to find my glasses to figure out which one's right and which one's left in my earbuds. So good luck to her. She'll be competing on Thursday. So looking for some exciting news coming from there. One of the things that I just wanted to that I shared with you today, LSC members, and wanted to just share with the public too as well. This is something that's somewhat new, a requirement that the chiefs were asking all the principals to complete. It kind of just gives a checklist to make sure plan A, B, and C can be thought out. So the biggest thing, if we could move down a little bit down to the gen ed students. The nice thing about diverse learners, nothing was lost there in regards to positions, a little bit of funding loss, but that's understandable as students graduate and or transfer out. And then ELL was also the same. So I don't want to jump over that, but I just wanted to focus more on what are some current numbers. So right now we have 57 students that are either signed up to register. So we are still opening up with 3 kindergarten classrooms. And the reason why I can say that definite is because CPS did grant us the additional teaching position. So normally we would not be able to afford this, though we said as an LSC this would be a priority. Now that CPS is providing the position so that we have a total of 3 teacher positions, that means CPS is paying for one of them. So we will have 3 kindergarten classrooms. So that's phenomenal. So this is why I sort of do this checklist, is because then that means once that position's paid for, then my funding shifts to another spot in need. But I just wanted to share all the current numbers with you for grades 1st through 8th grade. We are looking to hopefully get back some of our students that we lost via remote. So we're still waiting to hear back from quite a few families. Mr. Kennedy and Miss Sopena, Miss Maria, we're working on a Google form to send to the parents that are remote, so they don't have to come on campus to fill out a form or bring it through. So great news there. And if we could just move down to the ancillary positions, please. So these are the ancillary positions, are what we call specials for students or preparatory periods for staff members. So we will have 2 gym, 1 art, halftime music, 1 STEM teacher. And one of the things that we're looking to plan B, I should say, if this all goes out well, I'm looking to hire a Spanish teacher so that our technology teacher also, sorry, this is the problem with using a teenager's computer, I apologize. And one with the Spanish teacher, if we can keep that, then Miss Court would shift her upper grade classrooms to not teach technology, that she would be focusing more on technology for our younger students. So again, this is hopeful, but I think we might be able to make this work. And some of the reasons why are to our next section here on buckets. We have been given $83,000 for discretionary funds due to COVID and or possible learning loss. So one of the things that I wanted to do was to help pay for our miscellaneous positions, those MTSS, aides in the classroom, et cetera. Well, lo and behold, last Friday, we found out that next year, CPS is going to provide funding for the miscellaneous positions that we were granted under COVID this past year. So our original allotment was for 2 miscellaneous positions that would support COVID this school year, and they said that they would extend it into first semester. So that's kind of key. I don't know if they're going to continue it or if they're going to see how funding is going, but we do have 2 positions, so that's nice. Again, that's 2 positions we don't have to pay for. The million-dollar question is, there is a possibility that they will be paying for 4 positions because of our large amount of students that returned. I believe 85% of our student population came back on campus during COVID. I requested additional positions to support that, and they did give us 4. So I'm going to go with conservative and think that it's just 2 miscellaneous positions, but it possibly could be 4. So with that, like I said, you can see some ebb and flow. Obviously, I'm paying for the miscellaneous position. So 83,000 will either be used for second semester or possibly to fund additional positions too, which will probably be both. Can we go on to the next page, please? So this was just wanted to let you know because of our shift in budgets, I just wanted to share with you, we are definitely paying for some of the position for the assistant principal, and that's being funded with our 124 funds. So I reinstated that. We did this a few years back, and this is money that is from our internal accounts, but it also can be switched to some student-based budgeting depending on how our funds look like in the fall. So just wanted to let you know, I think 40% of his position is paid for that. And then the TechCo, which is the 0.5. So that's the, hey, do I have enough money? What I just spoke about with Mrs. Court, only teaching the younger student population. And then because it is a unknown, in the past, CPS used to provide funds for clerks to work over the summer. So because we just don't know what it is looking like with enrollment, whether families have moved in or they're going to move in over the summer and need to enroll the students. So I put money aside to make sure that we can get up and going, and that the students are listed in dashboard and CPS sees that we are completed and ready to rock and roll with students that are all submitted. If we move down to the crosswalk, so just a reminder, I know all local school council members know this, but to our population, our budget has to align with the school improvement plan, our CIWP, continuous improvement work plan. So making sure that both are in, I have been updating the CIWP, we're in green. The update I would give you all is I think we've done a fantastic job with our co-teaching virtually and or hybrid. And I think we've done an awesome job with ESL and diverse learner support. So that is one thing for sure. So I'm not only saying co-teaching with our diverse learner teachers and EL teacher, but also with a lot of our aides. Aides have really stepped up and supported the teachers, taking the students into breakout rooms, et cetera, and small group. So I'm thankful for all the professional development we've done over the years, because I think that was a real seamless move into the hybrid. Another thing that I just wanted to touch base, Chief McGlade came to Sauganash School on Thursday, and she was able to go into all the classroom. She said out of all of Network 1 classrooms, we were the most advanced in utilizing the technology. She was impressed with the true touch screens, that the students could interact and see the other students in the classroom, and that the speakers were working. So a lot of the schools were not utilizing the speakers, which is a shame because it's an opportunity for our students at home that are learning to participate in the classroom. So kudos to the staff. They did an awesome job. And I think that's huge compliments coming from Chief McGlade, letting our staff know how well advanced we are in technology. Yeah, there's a great job. So all good there. Just wanted to let you know, I took advantage of the end of the year funding that we had. So I just want to give a quick update. Some of the funds that weren't used, as in some buckets that I dropped and money dropped down, in additional kind of combining budget lines, scraping all the money together. This is our current budget, as well as some funding that we had seen in the CTU funds that teachers allowed me to use. They're $250. So a lot of the teachers did not use it this year because they didn't have the need to purchase supplies. So with that is they sign off and let me purchase it. So the idea is the money does not go back to the board, that we get to spend it. And so with that, we purchased what they call a book room. It's a leveled readers for grades kindergarten through 4th grade that will support the cafe instruction. So leveled readers are when they go in their guided reading and they sit at their bean table and they read with the students. They all have their own copy of the same book. It's usually a very thin, one-day reader, 10-minute reader type of thing. So I'm excited about that. We also purchased additional radios for safety while we're under construction next year, additional recess equipment for the students. We're working on resurfacing the last 2 rooms. Room 205 and 207 have never been, floors have never been sanded and completed. So room 207, which is our computer lab, and the little classroom next to it, 205, both of those floors will be done so that it will look like the regular other classrooms. Additional cones and Scholastic magazines. So please go to the book fair, like our chair said, that support. It does help in supporting paying for those classroom magazines. Because of last year that we didn't have it as well, we're paying for it this year, but our points that we earn this year will be applied towards next year's magazine. So appreciate that. That's just something I just wanted to go over. Let you know that we're taking advantage of all the money, and you know me, that's the game I like to play. I like to give them pennies back. So just wanted to give an update on that. Some other non-instructional software, I did put aside some money for $8,500 for some of the licenses that the license for software come up over the summer. So then we'll be ready to purchase them right away before the school year begins. And then continued professional development. Mr. Kennedy does an awesome job with Lead 180. Network One principals did the professional development as well. So what the teachers were doing, we did. So it was great to actually see it even twice. And then also to make sure that that we can keep moving with our professional development, even though we're in a hybrid mode. We're still receiving Empower money. So I just want to make sure that you see that we get the grant. So we're given $20,000 for the Empower funding. Remember, that was when our DL learners, our diverse learners, there's more of a gap with our gen ed. So just want to make sure that you saw that we have the grant again for next year. So all of our supplies are purchased, all of our technology has been purchased, and all of our instructional materials. So we're all in great shape for there on that. And then the final page, one thing that we did take a look at what the equity grant is to support that MTSS and tutoring that we may need. So that's the money. And as we go along in the school year, we'll know more definition to how much money that we have and how much money we actually are working with. And that, of course, is all based on our student population. So this is something that all the principals go over with Chief McGlade to make sure. And the last page, if you just scroll one more page, Mr. Kennedy, I just want to make sure, because I don't want to be, if we don't receive probably at least 30 additional students, it might be difficult to fund that Spanish position. So I will keep you updated throughout the summer and how our numbers are doing. Again, if we know of anybody that has moved into the neighborhood or has siblings or thinking of transferring, no matter what, is 1st grade through 8th grade. And Chris, I believe you have a question.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. A lot of good news in this one. Are we free as LSC members to repost any of the newsletters to the community? I know there have been a couple newspaper articles about registration being open, but I think there's certain sites like Nextdoor that I think I could very quickly post and probably reach a whole lot more people.
Absolutely do that. I saw that email, Chris, and I know Miss Maria has sent out a couple times, but we can't let it be told enough. So yes, if you would like to, my only ask is that they don't call the school, that they email. That's sort of the goofy thing, is to email Miss Vicky her email address. And then that way we can for sure get them, and then she can set up she's got their contact via email, and then she can set up an appointment to get them registered. But yes, if you would like to, and then word of mouth, grocery store, park, whatever have you, just keep talking it up to get parents to sign up their students so that we can make decisions.
Right. That was the second part. Is there a specific date that is kind of make or break for this? For example, the third kindergarten teacher is a huge win, I think. Is there a certain date where you have to prove that you have a certain number of students before CPS might take that back?
Yes, and that's called the 10th day of the school year. So that's why. So, oh, good. Yeah, awesome. Great job, Elaine. Yeah, I agree. Just as much as we can just keep circulating it. So the 10th day, but Chris, just to make sure that everybody is clear, is that we will have all 3 kindergarten teachers. So that will not change. So regardless
of how many students we get on the 10th day? Oh.
That's why the CPS paid for that position. So that's pretty key. That's why we have a little bit more wiggle room.
Okay.
But
Awesome.
just quick question, guys. But you really need to know for that Spanish position, which is something that very excited about. But you'll need to know that in order to plan effectively, right? So
yeah, sooner the better.
For you, the sooner the better, so that for the summer you have this lined up as well.
And that's why we're paying Miss Vicky to come in over the summer, because normally she does not.
Got it. Okay.
Yes, and they're with our real estate agents. You know, I do have some of their old. I will also reach out. That's a great idea, Angie. Angie mentioned that we would should spread the word to the local realtors. So for sure.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Okay, so just moving on to our budget. We ready? Sorry, thanks. So we took a combination of, what I ended up doing is use 2 years ago presentation with a combination of last year, and then the required information that the board wanted us to provide is in the PowerPoint presentation. So this is all of our contact information in level 1. Next slide. You know how to get a hold of us. Just want to make sure those in the public know that we have 6 parents that represent us on the local school council, 2 community representatives, and 3 staff representatives, along with the principal. And here are our awesome PTO officers, all volunteers working tirelessly. LSC and PTO, seriously, volunteerism. So thank you to all of them. We could not do it without. And our mission statement here from our 2022 CIWP, just a reminder to everybody, the school improvement plan is written, and it is for 2 years. So this is our mission statement. And then here is our strategic priority goals that we have. Just wanted to, again, we were working on a lot of productive talk, making sure that conversations with both the teachers and students at home in remote learning and in the classroom. I think more of that robust conversation was happening in their breakout rooms as well. So this is just making sure that we are trying to release some of that responsibility, getting those open-ended questions so that the students are having conversations and learning from each other. Our next strategy, strategy 2. As our focus on content areas, our scores, the data that we've had, our DLs and our diverse learners and English language learners need that extra support, so that here's some of the information from the NWA. So our percentages haven't changed because we haven't completed the NWA. Obviously, we will update them once we take it, I believe, in the fall or winter of next year. We need to vote on that, that's why. And for our third strategy, focusing on the can-do descriptors for our English language learners really helps focus on what are we studying and why we're studying. So more of an objectives, which hopefully end result is increasing access scores. And that's a different test, that assessment that the English language learners complete. And for strategy 4, sorry, Mr. Kennedy, thank you. SEL, obviously that was a big one this year. A lot of our time was focused on our scheduling to make sure that the students were having opportunities for talking, learning, not only second step, but also I think this past year really brought on a different role in the sense of supporting our students socially and emotionally. In addition to Ms. Algaretti, our counselor, was working with specific students. Some may have been with private counseling, et cetera, just making sure that they are getting the resources that they need and making sure that there's great communication between the school and the therapists. Next slide. Okay, so the budget. So you've heard some of the good news. I don't want to scare you with some of the red numbers on this slide. So remember, the good news is I didn't even tell you this one. Not only a kindergarten teacher, but also they're allowing us to keep the teacher's aides. So I don't know if they're going to look at the 2 teacher's aides that are currently assigned kindergarten after the 10th day. Will they allow us to keep it for kindergarten or move it to another grade level? The sense that I got was that CPS is really trying to work with CTU, that if the positions were filled, our teacher assistant positions were filled, they did not want to cut them for the upcoming year. So that was great news. So as of now, we not only have an additional teacher position being paid for by CPS, we also have 2 additional teacher aides being paid for by CPS. So it seems to have, we've gotten more positions rather than money. So let's go through the budget allocation and sort of just broke it down into student-based budgeting, student aid, which is the old SGSA, and then the Title II, which is reduced class size, and professional development. And then the other funding source is bilingual, and of course our internal accounts obligations. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you is that we are truly down. I know, I'm sorry, my bar graph would not move down. Christina, I apologize. It's probably where I needed you. The funding did go down because of the amount of students. So I want to pull attention to this student-based budgeting was based on 665 students, where this year CPS believes that we'll get only 615. So what I did do, and this was per our budget meetings and with LSC conversation, is I wanted to put the money up front. And the philosophy with that is that the reason why you want the money up front is that you can hire a teacher in the spring and summer, as opposed to trying to find somebody with, into the school year, 10 or 20 days into the school year, which would then disrupt classrooms and moving students and moving teachers, et cetera. So as a victim of that as a teacher by former principals, I try not to do that. One, I don't think it's fair to the students, nor do I think it's fair to the teacher. To say, hey, you're teaching first grade and now all of a sudden you're teaching 5th grade. So wanted to put the funding up in front. That's why we asked to include the 50 students, because our thought process behind that was we would gain the students back that we had lost, bringing us back up to our membership enrollment from last year was 665. We're currently at 599, and that's with all of the students that have transferred out. Some of the students that we know of transferring out in the future, we know that it is a wash because we have the same amount of students that are enrolling as of now. So right now we have 13 students transferring out and we are receiving 13 students in. So that is a wash at this point. Most likely we know of our students that are transferring. Our parents are pretty good about letting us know ahead of time. as opposed to letting, again, that struggle of making sure that we get the students signed up. So with that was a huge roll of the dice in having with the 50 students having an advancement of $240,266. So that's the highest that I've sort of rolled the dice, but I'll explain how we can cover ourselves if we don't get those students that are coming in. So our state aid, we're receiving from the state, unfortunately, our poverty level went from 22.5% to 17.19%. And that is due to a couple things. One is we were not able to get 100% participation from our families to fill out the family income form. And that was obviously due to hybrid learning, remote learning at the beginning of the year. And it was just tough to get a hold of some of our families to get them to fill out the form. So just wanted to let you know that probably contributed to the decrease. I don't know if funding has affected, because I would think COVID may have affected some of our family and community with that. But just wanted to let you know we are not receiving as much. In fact, it's a 29,000 fall on that. And then there's also no rhyme, no reason, and none of our principals can get a straight answer from budget, but with Title II funds, the 204 is out there because we used to get $204,000. Years past, we've gotten $80,000. So this year we're down to $40,000. So you can see how those funds have dwindled. This was historically a minimum funding. It was funds that would help us compete with schools that receive Title I funds. And schools that receive Title I funds are schools that are over 40% poverty level. So we do not have that, and we are not aware of why we were cut, but when principals have all discussed, we all seem to have gotten cut the same amount. So it must have been, I'm assuming the federal government didn't give them as much funding for Title II to help with professional development and reduce class size. So that's something that we need to fight for in the future. I just wanted to let everybody know with the bilingual, we are receiving $8,000. So not only do we get $8,000 to help our English language learners with tutoring after school, there's some bilingual advisory committee funds there for Miss Ihana to have meetings, and they also fund half of her position. Obviously, she makes more than $8,000, but that's just the non-teaching salary. So they are still continuing to pay for half of her position. And then the internal accounts obligation, it's only an obligation if we have to pay for the $150,000. So if you take the enrollment number there, $197,018, that is including both Mr. Kennedy's partial payment of his position, as well as if we have to pay the board money back if we don't get those additional 41 students after the 10th day. So I hope hope that's making sense. And just wanted to give you an overall, we did receive more money with our total budget, even though our student-based budgeting was down, SA budget was down, and in Title II, we were able to make it up in positions that the board is paying for. So just wanted to show that we're still a little bit ahead, but 84,000 is not what I was hoping for. So again, it has to really deal with the amount of students that are enrolled. There was a question, I believe. Was it Robert?
No, we're good. We just pointed out that you spoke to already, the actual bars aren't meeting the numbers.
No, sorry, Robert. Yes, so I apologize. So I was trying to put the number lower to show that the bar would be lower. Mr. Kennedy and I could not get it to go. Okay, next slide. Thank you. So I just wanted, this was a requirement from the board. Just wanted, though, we know that we have 53 fewer students, right? We need 53 students to get to 665. The reason why I said 41 is because they're still giving us credit for 615 students. So I know that we'll get 615 students. I'm pretty positive on that. That is our only baseline that the board will not take money from us. So currently we have 599. So for instance, if I had 599 for next year, they would not make me pay back the money up to 615. I would have to pay the money for the 41 students that we didn't get. So that's why 41 is the magic number of getting those kids enrolled on top of. So that I'm looking at the number of 53 to see as our goal to meet it so that we can break even and get to 665. So some sad news, we did have one retirement this year and one resignation. We have a teacher that is retiring, so congratulations to her, Miss Kresmer. And then Miss Brenza is moving to Colorado. So congratulations to her, because I know that she wanted to do this and was able to have it happen. And we also have Miss Carol, our MTSS reading, and who has been stepping in up with Miss Brenza this year. She is also retiring. So with that being said, the funding that we received with the two retirements and resignations, that was able for us to get additional money. So that would make a little bit more sense to the last screen as to why we're ahead of the game, even though we saw so much in the red. I opened up two positions. One is a middle school science, and the other is a 3rd and 4th grade language arts social studies teacher. I opened up those positions at a lane 1, step 2. So that we could hire a newer teacher, and if we needed to adjust funding, I would adjust funding later on. And that's what we'll do as a local school council, vote on the amendment for any changes due to who our new hires will be in the future. We have covered everything financially other than the Spanish position that I spoke about, but I think we could possibly get it. We have, and I'm confident, so I don't want to jinx myself, but I'm confident about it. We have our internal accounts intact. So remember, even though that we possibly get teachers that are on a higher lane 1 or step 2, we still have 181,000 in our internal accounts. We currently, not paying for Mr. Kennedy position, so I don't want this to be confusing. We currently have 124,000, I'm sorry, in our 124 budget, our current budget, we have 79,000, thank you, Mr. Kennedy, 79,000 in our current budget that we could use for a deficit. And then remember, we got that discretionary allocation for our miscellaneous employees with 83, because remember, I'm not sure if they're going to pay for 2 positions or 4 positions. So we're financially in great shape. I will give an update when we get to PTO, but PTO is also on board with this as well. They're aware of it. I did have a meeting with Heather Van Zandt and Lindsay Stravakis to go over what there possibly could be needs for. And we do have our funding for our professional development, which will be a continuation of Lead 180 and productive talk moves with our newer teachers and co-teaching, etc. So we're in good shape there. Let's go to the next page. These are just board funded positions. I want to make sure, and in addition to my position is paid. We did not lose any special education positions. We did not lose any special education aid positions, which are called SECAs. The board also pays for our counselor. The board pays for the clerk. They pay for 0.5 for Miss Ihana. We have 3 lunchroom employees that the board pays for, and that is representation, the next one, of kindergarten teacher, which is 1 paid for the board, and then the 2, right now we're calling kindergarten teacher assistants. Okay.
Chris, we have a question from Christina,
Sure.
looks like.
Sorry, thank you. Christina.
Oops, sorry about that. Quick question for you, just for curiosity, and sorry if this does not have to do too much with budget, but more with the open positions. Just wondering, Chris, like, so you put it out there as a step. I think step 1 you said. So is there like an active recruitment process that happens in with the board itself, and then you get to make that decision?
Correct. So
Okay.
right now we've advertised on, so it's kind of nice. The board is improving, which takes a lot for me to say. So the board did have the principals fill out any vacancy Google form so that they knew ahead of time what the teaching position was, and I had to actually give the position number as well as the description of the position. So that's already been advertised. And then once Hyperion switches over, they'll also advertise into layout. So it should be both. So because I knew of these changes, and thankful that we have that administration has that relationship with the teachers to tell them ahead of time, because it's not always happens in all schools. So we did know in advance. What they do is they advertise. Mr. Kennedy and I have already been some interviewing. We've got more resumes still coming in. We've got an interview tomorrow. So it's just an ongoing trying to grab those great candidates before somebody else snatches them up.
Got it. Thanks for explaining that.
And then the next slide. Sorry about, that's it. I guess that is just wanted to say thank you to everyone for coming, and any other questions, because I kind of went through that quickly. All good.
Chris, can I confirm we have a full-time school counselor just devoted to Sauganash, not rotating from school to school?
We have a full-time school counselor, Mrs. Andrea Algrati, yes.
Okay, great. Yeah.
So any support, to reach out with her is, and it's been an exceptional year. I mean, these students, some have done well with remote learning, some have not done so well. We were able to get, I'm going to give credit to who it belongs to, Mr. Kennedy, in getting students in the classrooms that we could get in. We got them in quicker than CPS, but we knew that we had the space. So any students that we could do the 4 days, we did. We have very full classrooms compared to, other schools as well. So, good. Anything else? Okay, Lena, I think we're okay. Oh, you're muted, sorry.
Do we need to take a vote on this evening? We do. Okay.
Yes, we do.
Okay, I thought we did. I just wanted to make sure. So, I'm gonna bother everybody to go through and unmute themselves, and I want to go through the roll call and what we're voting on here. What we're voting on an approval of the budget as it's been explained by Principal Munns here. So it's we're agreeing to the strategy and the layout of what we've got here. So if I could go through roll and ask you to unmute yourself and just say a yes or no in favor of approving the budget for Sauganash Elementary. And I'm going to start with myself, and I am an approval, so yes. Chris Schumann?
I say yes. Will we get a copy of the improved? I think this slide is key just to help us look ahead. If we can get an improved copy of that. And I think on the LSC, I don't know if you're presenting this anywhere else, Chris, but the LSC slide, I think Chris Tassoni was missing as vice chair, in case it's being shown elsewhere.
Oh, okay. I will definitely
Shout
add
out.
that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's a long yes, Elaine. Sorry.
I love it. I love it. All right, on to you, Christina Tassone.
I approve.
Okay. Deepak Bapu.
That's yes.
Okay, great.
Elaine, we lost you, I think.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll come back. How about Stephen Cooper? I see you queued up.
I approve.
Okay, awesome. Mary
Thank
McKenna.
you.
Approved.
Okay. Laura.
Approve.
Okay. And then Angie.
Approve.
Okay. Tom Pekarsky.
Yes.
And then we'll try Katrina again. See if we can hear her.
Yes, now I can hear you too.
Awesome.
Yes,
Awesome.
approved.
All right, great, wonderful. Cross those T's there and dot those I's. Thank you for, I love, this has been a work in progress to get to a simplistic nature of describing this budget, which is not always easy to understand. So kudos to the team and everybody for, making a gain every year we put this out there. So that's awesome. We'll go on to principal evaluation. One quick formality that I want to say for new business, we have to get something on record in our agenda. We did it last meeting, but I didn't speak it correctly nor record it correctly, so we'll do that later. But we do have a contract with Principal Munns now at school. She and I went over it, filled it out. We do need everybody on the school board to sign that contract. So I believe the easiest thing to do is this. I've left a copy of it at school with the front desk. If you guys could all at some point in the near future go there, sign it, and we'll be done with it. If that's a problem for anybody, give me a shout and grab me and let me know as soon as you can, and we can get it to your house or whatever. But it's at the front desk at school. School hours, run in there. Your beautiful signature on there, and another 4 years of Principal Munns. So that's awesome. And then Katrina or Deepak, if you guys want to make a PTO report at all, here's an opportunity.
Our meeting is subsequent to this. It's on Wednesday, so I'm not aware of a lot that's changed since the last meeting. Maybe
Okay.
Katrina knows more.
The event we have coming up is the walkathon on June 8th and 10th to account for the hybrid model. That's the only event coming up that I know of. Maybe more will be discussed on the Wednesday's meeting. And people come with ideas on restaurant support and whatnot, but nothing as of right now.
Awesome.
And then Katrina, are they also looking for some board members, I believe? Is there-
Yes. So myself and Aaron Alvarez will be leaving the board after our 2-year term. So they're looking for a,
Secretary, maybe?
yes, so me as the secretary, and I'm trying to remember Aaron's.
Aaron's like
Fundraising.
fundraising.
So
Yeah, so I guess
fundraiser and secretary.
Yeah, just to add to that, I mean, thank you for bringing that up, Ms. Munns. The PTO is looking for any volunteers to serve as either board members or even chairing activities next year as I'm not going to say return to normal, but, as we get to more of our regular calendar of events, there are a lot of events that need people to chair and manage that stuff, as well as if anyone's interested in joining the board, please reach out to Lindsay, or I think Lindsay would be the best person to reach out to if you were interested in that. And I mean, I'm just saying this, I'm not trying to steal LSC members, but in terms of the workload, the LSC is more and the PTO is much more laid back and you know, more fun. And if you wanted to do that instead of
Did he just say more fun?
I'm just joking. I'm just being silly. I'm just saying, you know, you know, if you're interested in joining the PTO, you know, please consider that. Reach out to Lindsay. Thank you.
No, I appreciate it. And also
More
the other,
Sell the well.
the other thing I want to say too is co-chairs. I've been trying to encourage co-chairs. I know it's hard to get one volunteer, but usually if you have a buddy and you're trying something new, there is support from, you know, former parents that chair at events. Obviously, administration will support you. But, you know, please, if anybody is interested, it's a great way to get involved, especially if any family that's new to the area. We've had parents over the years that were brand new and just jumped on board, and it was a great way to meet new people in the neighborhood.
Awesome. On to regular business, which I believe we can skip through in that we don't have any internal account activity, nor do we have any school usage approval. So through those items, and then on to old business. So let's rev back up the conversation about the school edition and the SCA's public meeting on tomorrow night, 7 o'clock as well.
So I thought I would start off, and then I'm going to pass it off to Christina. We did, as a school, receive some emails from some of the Sauganash community members, specifically more of parents that, or neighbors that they're around close to the perimeter of the school. And so I wanted to get CPS and Public Building Commission involved in their meeting. My goal is, and this is what I talked to Michelle about, is that we would do a brief presentation to some of the changes that they have made. They've heard the voices of the community. And so I just wanted to make sure Public Building Commission will be present. And I did confirm with them today and did have a review of the presentation last Friday in a meeting. So Christina, if you want to give more specifics, and I think Elaine, I shared with you, and you can add in any architecture verbiage.
No, I mean, I was just going to say the Alderman's office called maybe about 2 hours ago. So I just was learning, heads up, for LSC members or community that wants to go to the SCA annual meeting. It's tomorrow at 7. And there's going to be a presentation with updated views of the setback. And that's kind of the big thing, I think, is, as you're mentioning, the setback in the Kilpatrick Hiawatha corner seems to be the biggest concern. So there was a negotiation, a little bit of, okay, adjusting it and what that will mean. And obviously, Chris, I think you know more behind this, and maybe Elaine as well. But just want to put it out there for anyone. Just make sure that if you can attend the meeting, I'll be on the call. Love to rehear what the updates are, and also get an idea of what the community is saying after they hear the update provided. So that was it.
Yeah.
Elaine, do you want to add anything?
Well, other than, you know, it's an exercise of trying to come to a solution with lots of complexities to it: budget, space allocation, school programming, setbacks, neighborhood, you know, buy-in, and all of that gets weighed. Not all of it will be met to 100% satisfaction by every single group. So that's what this noise is pushing and pulling in that direction. And, you know, the PVC and Leggett architects that are working on are doing a fantastic job working with all the complexities, and we're going to hear how they're responding to the concerns the community are bringing up. So I'm happy to hear them doing it. That's great. You know, that's exactly what needs to happen, and we'll see what they say. We'll see what
I was going to just add, I'll make sure that we put in a constant contact with the meeting information, the Zoom link, and how to jump on for tomorrow. And then it's a great way. We'll advertise it, obviously, with our school community. It's also, the information is found on the Sauganash Community website as well.
Yep. That's great. Anybody have any other questions or comments at all? And Mrs. Court just reminded us too, it's on the school calendar, so that's awesome. Thank you.
Good, thanks.
All right, Elaine, I do have one. Is there a projected start date for the construction?
There is.
There
What was it? What do they call it? Fourth quarter, Sean? You're muted, and we keep on. Sean and I keep going back and forth on this.
October.
October. Okay.
Quarter 4. So end of quarter 3, start of quarter 4 is what he told us.
All right. Cool. Well, exciting.
It is, and they're still projecting the move-in date. What is it? No, what a slow move-in. Go ahead, Sean.
Thanksgiving of 22, and with a ribbon cutting January of 23. So
So at least
everything's still on the original timeline they gave us 3 months ago has not changed. It's all still on track according to the guys we met with last week.
Very fun. Yay. That's exciting.
Oh, and I'll add one more thing that's very important that I've learned when you get any construction on your building, whether it's a module, elevator, addition, and a second addition, there's over $500,000 on our budget. So I know it's happening. Once they put money towards it, you know it's for sure. When they break ground, then we know 100%. So
that's great. Thanks for sharing that, because that is what that is. Information there. We'll go on to new business. This is just having kind of closed up the topic with Luis Garcias, who's our LSC lead, and I did not get one formal approval on the agenda last time, and that was to formally approve the principal cumulative evaluation. And that is what we did in the background, where we took the past 4 years of the SQRP scores and Principal Munz's ratings and averaged those to come up with an evaluation score there that ended up being an excellent rating. So we had very few SQRP scores. I think we only had one, and we had 2 of them in there, and then we had 2 years of the evaluation because we didn't have numbers in from last year. Having said all that, we have discussed it in the background. We already came to a consensus of approving the accumulation. It's been entered, but I need to hear out loud in a meeting to get it on record that we motion to approve the principal cumulative evaluation, and that everybody is in majority of agreement for approving that. So if I could get someone to make a motion to approve the principal cumulative evaluation as discussed. I see Mary McKenna's hand up, so there's your motion. Can I get someone to second that motion?
I second it.
Can. And then I'm going to just for a minute, not even a minute, but just give a moment here for anybody who does not agree with the motion to say something now. And I'm not seeing any hands or expressions, so I'm going to assume everybody is in approval of that motion, and we formally then put that evaluation behind us, and I get the scores synced in the PIAT system, and we're good to go there. So thank you for doing that. Public comment. If anybody has anything that was brought to their attention, or if anybody's on the meeting, Christine, I see your hand there.
Yeah, just a couple parents have asked me if, in terms of safety, I don't know if there's an update. I don't know if this was brought up. There seems to be a concern about the establishment that is on, I don't know if it's on Peterson and by Cicero by the school. Is there any word about, I don't know what's going on in that establishment, but has that come up to you guys? Have you been informed? I know it's kind of a community thing, but it's really close to the school.
We have, and actually I spoke with Miss Maria. We were actually talking about it, and she's like, you know, I can see it right on my desk. So from her desk, she can see on the corner. One of the things that she's noticed is it doesn't tend to happen during school hours, that it's more after school hours.
Okay.
There's some kind of like a card club or some kind of club that's happening. Gambling.
I don't know
above.
what's going on. We don't know 100%. But a couple parents have mentioned this, and they were just wondering, you know, if people contacted you and kind of what, if have you talked to the has there been discussion with the alderman or CPD? I don't know, but just curious because it is very close to the school.
Correct. And they are both aware, the alderman and Chicago Police Department. I would encourage those parents to attend the Sauganash Community Association because you'll have both of them in session right there. That could get any concerns, and then making sure that Chicago Police Department, you know, has a game plan and what they're not only aware of it, but what are they doing about it? What can they do about it? That type of thing. I do know the alderman is aware of it though, as well as Chicago Police Department.
And they've informed you guys as well, and
They have.
Okay.
They have. Maria is a great detective, neighborhood detective too. I'm telling you, she should have been a police officer on this in her previous life or something. I'm not sure, but she was like, Chris, I literally can see it. She does not. She watches people go in and out of the hairdresser, which is right by, but not at the corner where Sauganash Restaurant used to be. And then there was the therapeutic, OT, maybe occupational therapy. That was the only people that she's seen going in and out, but she is aware of it. So,
okay.
But I would definitely have them voice their concerns. Squeaky wheel.
Yeah. Another reason to attend tomorrow.
Yeah.
Correct.
We're plugging in for the SCA annual meeting today here. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything to bring forward at all?
That's it.
All right, and everybody, you know, just to say too, this is not the only opportunity that Chris and Sean and the school are open for any kind of comment any day, anytime. So don't let this be the only one-stop shop for that. Our next meeting will be an organizational meeting, I believe, in the summer, because there's no reason to hold a regular meeting. Through the end of the year, we've met our obligation in terms of number for the year, so we're good for the year. If something comes up and we need an emergency meeting, we'll do that. But other than that, expect, please, to meet. I'm actually going to kind of throw this date out there. July 12th is a Monday, 6:30. We've traditionally kind of kept the time slot and the day going. The requirement is that we meet sometime between July 1st and July 14th. So I just put that. The Monday prior is pretty close to the 4th of July holidays. We always go that Monday after the holiday. So let me know now if you know you're not going to be there. If we're missing more than half of us, then we'll look at a different date. But otherwise, we'll hold that. We can record it and catch everybody up that has summer plans and those kind of things that we can't work around. So other than that, there's no other agenda items, and we're happy to adjourn the meeting here at 7:39. And a huge thank you to everybody again for another fantastic year of these meetings.
And thank you, Elaine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine, for keeping these meetings just flowing, and they've just been great. Thank you for organizing
thanks,
us.
Elaine, and thanks for taking care of the evaluation, putting those scores in. Thank you.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right, guys. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Thanks for your
Thank
support.
you.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.